Hi Aquarius, welcome to your March 2025 reading. I'm going to extend this forecast for the 6-week eclipse season portal. So we're going back as far as around the 27th of February and we're going to go forward as far as April 13th. We're well and truly in the eclipse season window now though. The full moon Virgo lunar eclipse is on the 14th of March and that's going to be very much like a storyline that's emerging in the Virgo part of your chart. It's going to kind of like put the lights out in that area of your chart for a couple of weeks, just so that you are maybe relying on your instincts a little bit more. It's also going to show you where you might be in misaligned energy in that area of life. However, the solar eclipse new moon in Aries at the end of this month is a really exciting and very like momentous and enlivening period for you in the areas of life around the Aries and Pisces part of your chart, those couple of houses. That eclipse in Aries is wrapping up with a kind of like grand finale like energy, a storyline that began for you in April of 2023. So you'll be familiar with what that's all about because it's been running for about 2 years now. But the retrograde of Venus is going on, the retrograde of Mercury is going on, and the signs involved with those retrograde planets are Pisces and Aries. So Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac and Aries being the first would suggest that there's a lot of, beginnings, endings, thresholds in your world. Let's see what the tarot has to say. So I have the Knight of Coins coming up as the first card out. Knights are usually about ambition, motivation, movement, so there is a direction. However, this one is facing to the past. I wonder, do you have to tie up loose ends or revisit something? It would make sense as we're in a retrograde period. The Three of Cups, it seems like you're going to be celebrating either way. This might be you planning an event, family, friends, get together, something that is celebratory in nature, just good vibes only. Let's see what else we've got. We've got Two of Coins. We also have the Ten of Cups. We have the Six of Coins. We have the Lovers card. Romantic relationships, yes, for sure, they're implied with the Lovers card coming up in a very significant way for you between now and April 13th. But it can be also any other kind of soulmate relationship you have with a child, a family member, a friend, or a mentor. The Four of Coins is coming up in reverse. The Magician is here to the Seven of Swords, and we have the Hanging Man as the card that's coming out at the very end of the month. That's a Neptunian, pretty Piscean energy. Between the end of March, let's say around the 27th of March onwards, there's kind of like this threshold of the last week of March, last and first week of April coming through as like highly significant around a vision, a dream, something that had previously seemed farther beyond your reach than you would like, Aquarius. Here, this Ten of Cups. It doesn't have to look like this. We've got a family scene. We've got light pouring out of a home. But this really just speaks to if you thought that anything that was far beyond the ability for you to heal on an emotional level, physical level, even in relationships, it's starting to come within reach for you, and there's a lot of hope and there's a lot of willingness on your part. The Hanged Man or the Hanging Man in this version is plunging like head first, no hat, no hair, head first into these cosmic ocean-like body of water, which is so Piscean really. And there's a real willingness, there's a real eagerness to know, there's an eagerness even to surrender. If you're looking for magic at this time in your life, it seems like you're kind of lined up to find it. Let's take this card by card, all right? And if this ends up resonating with you and you think this reading was something that was meaningful or you were meant to hear it, I will link the extended version down below where I'll be pulling another 10 cards, going deeper in this reading and pulling an archetype too. But let's just start with me looking at this bird's eye view real quick. I mean, I could easily get swept up in the fact that there's like celebration and relationships and surrender and bliss. But why not look at what's coming through on a more practical level first? Because you've got all these coin cards, which are earth energy, pentacle energy, and this is kind of the beginning to mid phase of a journey around your money and your job. We're not seeing 8, 9, 10 of pentacles. We know that you're still kind of in the early to halfway point on achieving some sort of a financial goal or completing a project. Something has your focus in a really big way now, but the Knight of Coins is asking you to go back to probably not all that long ago. Let me just think for a second. Probably not even all the way back to the end of February, maybe just the first couple of days of March. Did you forget to pay a bill? Did you forget to settle some sort of a outstanding agreement? Did you forget to negotiate, or are you still in the works of finding a solution? And like I said, Virgo with the Knight of Coins, this eclipse in a few days, kind of normally when we have a full moon, we have maximum brightness and all of that. But in the full moon lunar eclipse, brightness is eclipsed, essentially. The sun is eclipsed, and I just get the impression that you might have forgotten something. This is the Knight of Coins, and it's saying that around this Virgo eclipse, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, you may not be able to continue or proceed forward because you haven't paid the vendor, you haven't settled that invoice, you haven't even sent that invoice, there's somebody waiting to hear back from you, there's some sort of score to be settled still. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not seeing that this isn't like any way out of your reach. It's just preventing the party from getting in full swing, I suppose. So if you are gearing up to, and this doesn't have to be a celebration like a party or an event, but if you're gearing up to some sort of a high point or a presentation, a hosting, a sort of like disclosure, these things come up with full moons as well, especially in the eclipses. High points of energy where truths are revealed, tales are told. It's a lot to do with revelry at times, you know, they can really feel like cosmic gateways, and there is something that's building up for you in a really positive way. Like, this isn't like tension bubbling up or irritation or anything like that. It's excitement, which is turning into like kind of even butterflies, or just sort of looking forward to and in anticipation for some sort of a celebration or get together or occurrence that feels like, you know, even if it's just calling over to your friend for movie night or going to see a play or a show, or for some reason I should say, the family are getting together, or you and your significant other are having an anniversary or a date night or something like that. And this is all going to unfold for you in a really beautiful way, and for some reason it seems more significant than just a mundane event, night, hosting, something that's going on, because it's coming up in this reading and asking you just to go back to the first week of March and just clear all of those questions and outstanding agreements and negotiations. And it seems like you're coming from a really stable place recently, just like stable in your dealings with others. Everybody's acting in good faith, and I think that you lately have been a person that others can really rely upon. You've got some questions about what you're going to do with your resources next. Are you going to invest? Are you going to spend your time, your money, apply your focus and skills here or there? There is a sort of one or the other with the Two of Coins. And it's great to have options, which you clearly do. This would suggest that there is not really a wrong choice here. The sort of situation I find with the Two of Coins is, yes, it's important to weigh up, and even with the scales here recently you have been doing your weighing up. It is important to do that and look at the pros and cons perhaps, but the way these two coins are balanced in this version, where sometimes they're like, you know, there's definitely a pro and a con, and this would just suggest to me that maybe there is no wrong approach, or there's no wrong choice here. Either way, you're going to be following a path that's going to end up bringing you to the destination that's meant for you, or the aligned journey for you, and it doesn't really matter which direction or route you take. I believe it's astrologer Chris Brennan who often describes eclipses and portals as, well, a time of great beginnings and great endings. That's pretty standard, but I've heard him say something along the lines of, sometimes during eclipse seasons we are rerouted on a direction that we may not have ordinarily have taken, but only to find out, be it 1 month to 6 months to even 12 months, because eclipses fall in 6-month increments, that we're in a place that we were meant to be, and it may not have been the path we would have taken, but somehow it ends up being, or at least it ends up making sense, if not being potentially more fulfilling. But yeah, I just think that you've got a lot of considerations around the sort of what's next. So on a practical level, what's next? Where am I going to study? Where am I going to live? Where am I going to work? What am I going to work on? And where should I spend my money? Or how am I going to make more money? That's all coming up for you, and it is very important because the highest self wants to talk about that. But at the same time, you seem to be just so excited and exuberant and experiencing a lot of emotional freedom and fulfillment. So you may want to sort of put some of those more mundane or even just practical considerations on the back burner for now, because you know, you're looking forward to stuff, you're excited, and things are working out well and running smoothly, and there's a lot of love around you. So this is kind of something that, why waste? Enjoy this, right? It's been a long time coming, it seems like, for some of you. The 10 of Cups does suggest that this is the culmination or coming to an end of a cycle that for some time now has been building towards greater love, greater connection, more healing, more forgiveness, the end of a conflict for some. And then you've got the Lovers card, so that's coming up. I see the Lovers card even coming up all through the month of April, more so than in between now and April. So I actually would say that the Lovers card kind of comes through anytime after around the 1st, 2nd of April. And this reading is only going to the midpoint of April, so I would say it's the first 2 weeks of April you're going to see this Lovers card energy. Let's take romantic relationships out of the picture just for one moment, just in case we're needing to apply it to something else. Before this Lovers card was named the Lovers, at some point in time it was called the Choice. And it represents the choices that we make, and I think that this is in line with the Two of Coins, that could either liberate us or merge us with another. So are we going to be completely free, independent, with no ties to anybody else? And the cost of that might be, you know, you're not experiencing things, you're not sharing things with another, you're not merging. And then the other choice is, am I going to merge with another and journey through the next stage with another person, be that a business partner, a romantic relationship, including a friend or family member in on this. And then I guess with that comes the cost of total independence and making your own choices, and you're going to learn more about cooperation and I guess mediation or give and take. Okay, so there is between the 1st and say 14th of April significant choices to make that kind of look like that one way or another. I think that again, there's no wrong choice here for you. I think that either way you're going to learn exactly what you're going to need to learn. And I know that sounds a little bit like vague, but I truly don't see anything but a learning experience in a Hanging Man as the final card. So you are meant to be experiencing exactly what you're experiencing, and I just think don't overthink when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to what's flowing and good and abundant. Just keep moving from the heart space. That's serving you amazingly right now, Aquarius. When it comes to the more practical concerns and the money and I don't think you need to overthink either. and I'll get to that in a minute with the highest self. But just to continue on the Lovers card, there could be something really special happening in your romantic relationship in the first couple of weeks of April. And again, I don't want to overblow what this might be. There's some candles here, so you might be blowing out candles. It might be a celebration of like something like a solar return, an anniversary. Again, it might be just like a sensual experience with candles or a massage, and there is a lot of intimacy in this card. So I think you're just celebrating, and again, without overblowing it, was that even an expression? I think that it could just be like a conversation that like illuminates the path forward, or there's a deepening in the commitment, a promise for more devotion and understanding, just connection in a great way. Okay, now the highest self is chiming in here with the Four of Coins. It's the only card that came through in reverse, and they're sort of being a little bit cautionary here. This is not a red flag. This is not like sirens like there are outside. I hope you can't hear that too loudly. This is just to say, now Aquarius, I know you are in this sort of romantic, magical, otherworldly, even quite mystical, transcendental and unconditionally loving bubble right now. And the highest self, why would they want to burst your bubble? But they are coming in here with this kind of message to make sure you don't totally overindulge or lose your touch and grip on reality, in terms of like there are still things that need to be done and daily tasks and routines, and you've still got to walk your dog, and you've still got to make sure that even in a moment of passion you're not falling asleep with candles lit, things like that, bills being paid, budgets being balanced, and there is still a need to stay balanced while all of these for some just like incredible blessings are unfolding for you, high points of energy like events and celebrations, something that's just really filling your cup. The highest self is just saying that the reason potentially that this might be such an abundant time in your world could be something to do with how well you have been balanced, you know, work-life balance. Okay, I mean, isn't it true that if our home life, our family life, our personal life is not balanced or is ailing us, then probably our creative pursuits, our work, our career, our responsibilities, the outer world part of our life is probably going to ail too. So there does seem to be a balance you have nailed, and that's why you're getting to enjoy the sort of more upward swing of emotional fulfillment in the realm of love, relationships, connection, and I think also connection to something beyond yourself. That's the Hanged Man, it's Neptune. This is kind of, you know, the divine, for want of a better word. So this Four of Coins is writing its way up. I think that that's probably the message then. It doesn't need to really be overthought much more than that. The Magician in your environment with the Seven of Swords too. So both the Magician and the Seven of Swords share the energy, I guess, of manipulation. And that's not always a bad thing. This could just be the inner working, understanding the inner workings. You can't help but understand systems if you understand systems. You can't help but recognize patterns. It's how you use your ability to see beyond the surface of something transactional or something conversational. You might be able to spot people's motivations or even their weaknesses. And it's up to you how you choose to maneuver, having that kind of advantage in a sense. Now the other thing is, you are also aware of other people in your life that have this same ability. Sometimes I think you worry or fear that somebody is pulling the strings, and I sometimes get you may sometimes get the impression that somebody knows your Achilles heel and would have no problem, Magician card, manipulating the energy around you to their advantage, I don't know, or to your advantage maybe, possibly. But that still doesn't sit well with you. It seems to just feel like you're like I still don't like it. It might be even like your therapist or something who is trying to manipulate you to the breakthrough of some sort of a realization, okay? But that doesn't sit well with you at this time. It might be a family member, it might be your significant other, or even a boss. You get the impression that somebody in your environment is really skillful at somehow creating these outcomes, or even if you are in conversation with them, it sometimes feels like they're 10 steps ahead, or that they're kind of leading you into some sort of like, not putting words in your mouth. I don't see this as being super malicious. I see it as being very skillful. I see it as being very like, it's an ability that you have on some level, and that's why you can recognize it in somebody at the moment. And I think that's something we're probably going to have to go deeper into in a different way. The Hanging Man as your outcome, is it this month? Yeah, so Neptune leaves Pisces at the end of this month. So Neptune is sitting in March at 29 degrees, last degree of Pisces, the last sign. And this is quite significant because, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the last decan of Pisces is the final decan, 29 degrees, final degree of Pisces. And then the first decan and 0 degrees of Aries is where the zodiacal story is all beginning again, archetypally. Neptune is for you, Aquarius, because it's the last card you got in this reading, is playing a vital role in terms of, okay, so Pisces is also associated with karmic endings and the clearing and purification of karma in our soul. And this is a lot more esoteric rather than just in your like daily life, I get that. But there is something to be said for the nature of quite a significant karmic healing going on in your world at this time, particularly from around the end of March onwards, where there's a big continuing to be a big dissolving of conflicts and like long-standing tension or weird vibes, or something that might not even be from your living memory, or it could be from generation just before you. It could be something in the matriarchal or patriarchal line of your family, and there is an opportunity for ancestral healing now. So it could be subconscious. Neptune is associated with your subconscious, and we know the subconscious mind has picked up memory from every lifetime. Okay, maybe I'm getting a little too Neptunian here, but it could be just from your childhood, and there's just this opportunity now for healing, grace, forgiveness, all those lovely Pisces words. Okay, I'm going to get into your extended right away, and if this is all you're sticking around for, make sure you're subscribed and even leave me a comment or like or share. It would so help my YouTube to grow. I'm just not paying YouTube like 300 bucks to boost my videos. I'm sorry, but I'm just not doing it. Okay, bye, Aquarius.